தமிழரின் பிம்பம் உங்கள் TVI.
Good afternoon, dear viewers. Welcome to CrossRoads on TVI. I'm your host, Parthi Kamdaval. This year, over the summer especially, our community has seen many shows and programs featuring artists from Tamil Nadu. Many wonder if these acts and shows sideline some of our own homegrown talent. Are we forsaking the growth of our own Tamil diaspora talent and culture over the glamour and talent from Tamil Nadu? Joining us in this discussion are Manoj Francis Xavier and Julie Rasanayagam. As always, please call us at 416-623-8100 to ask and share your questions and share your thoughts on this interesting and contemporary topic. Welcome to CrossRoads on TVI.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Manoj and Julie. So is this true, or am I seeing things? Has this year been a particularly busy year?
I definitely think so. I mean, from something as simple as, free newspapers, Tamil newspapers that we get, tons and tons of ads for shows, one after the other, and it's just everywhere. And half the newspapers full of ads for these live shows from, artists from Tamil Nadu coming in, which is, I'd say it's pretty dead on.
Uh-huh.
And I definitely agree. I mean, just this past summer, almost every weekend there was a show from live performers from India, and yeah, it's definitely increasing in trend as well. I mean,
and as an artist, how do you feel about this?
To an extent, it is kind of overbearing because you get the feeling that you have to be at India standards to put on a live show, and artists such as we get kind of put in the background. Like we may be even called to play for these Indian singers, but even then we are in the background. We're not really showcased.
And is that something that's
I feel that it's actually because of the quantity and the quality of shows that are happening right now. It is little, like Julie said, it's kind of difficult for homegrown talents to come out and share the spotlight with them, because they're just, they totally deserve it. Of course, they're well established, and they definitely put it's worth going to see them. But my concern is why aren't we giving the same type of attention to our artists that we in our community, right?
Some will argue that, like Julie said, some of them are being asked to play along with them or sing along with them. Some would say that helps develop our artists by giving them a role in the background.
I think it definitely does. Don't get me wrong. It's very nice to see them and kind of use them as a role model to one day maybe our generation or the generation after that to get up to that level where we're doing tours internationally and concerts internationally. But I think in order for that to happen, we have to start somewhere, right? And we have to let a group or just an artist, one person singing, dancing, whatever it may be, we have to give them that opportunity, that spotlight. Only then will, because I'm worried that our artists don't see it. They don't see it as something achievable, right? If you look at A.R. Rahman, Ilayaraja, anybody that comes, that's a big artist in India or Tamil Nadu, they do it full time. That's their life. They eat, breathe, sleep, music or dance or whatever it may be, Prabhudeva, right? Yeah. But I'm concerned that our community, children, our youth, our adults, whoever it may be, they feel that that's not possible because they still have to go to a job or go to school. That support system is not there, where the parents are still telling them, yeah, that's fine, you're doing this, we'll pay for classes, but this is your first priority.
Okay, so some might say that it's a new direction the community's in, and it's growing pains, which takes time and resources. As artists and active in the music arts community. Have you seen a change? Is there a change in these last few years, say following the war, or the end of the war?
Yeah, definitely. I think after the war, there's a better sense of community and just reasons to come together and enjoy what we have. And even like small cultural shows you have within like separate urs, those are even like mini shows that we have that bring people together and showcase our own talent. So there's definitely an increase in performances and shows and just community in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally agree. There are a lot more platforms for artists to showcase their talent. Like we discussed before, it may not be the spotlight, they may not be the center of attention, but there are plenty of venues for them to perform.
Well, some will say that since the end of the war, the community is going in different directions, right? And part of this is the frequency Tamil Nadu artists are coming to Toronto or to the diaspora. Is that playing a role in how that we're not as united as before, that these influences are becoming more powerful or frequent, and that's changing the way we make or we view our culture, our Tamil diaspora culture? Is that something you think it's changing within our community because of everyone is doing their own thing in a way?
Definitely there's a change. I mean, a couple of years back, it was all about the war and, back home and protests and so on and so forth. But now it's more geared towards, I guess the little perks of life, enjoying the weekend, at a concert or, going out to the Ur get-togethers and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
There's definitely a change, but I'm not sure. I don't think that it's changing our mindset, our cultures, right? If you want to elaborate on that.
Culture, it's always there. It's always somewhere embedded within us. I don't think that's something we can even get rid of. Even with like the Ur get-togethers and stuff, if you look at what we do, it's always related to what people did back home. So I don't think we're moving away from culture as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll get into how our culture changes later on with the fusion performances that are coming up in our community. But as the influence of Tamil artists are becoming more increasing, does our community suffer from I don't want to say the worship syndrome, but we adopt everything that comes out of the Hollywood industry, the music and arts industry? Do you see that's happening, whether it's classical or cinema? Do you think with the increasing, connections being made with these shows, are younger generations adopting or looking to that, or?
I think essentially you have to start from somewhere.
Okay.
So if I'm a young kid going to these concerts, seeing stuff from Tamil Nadu, it's something to aspire to.
Okay.
And then only when you've developed that basic level of like, okay, I want to do this is something I'm interested in, then you can move on to like, well, let me see what I could do. What would make me unique in this industry?
Okay. And it definitely is pretty amazing to use them as an inspiration, but I still feel that if you're able to get someone from locally, within our community to reach up to that level, it would be a lot more inspiring. It would be a lot more like, hey, if he could do it, I could do it for sure.
Okay.
For example, Drake, Justin Bieber, these are all, huge superstars, right? But what changed the mentality of us is that Drake did it. After that, The Weeknd, people could relate to it a lot easier.
If Canadian artists can become
exactly
large in the American mainstream, then so is the analogy Sri Lankan Tamil diaspora artists can become mainstream?
Yeah.
We need to definitely, I think we have the skills, we have the passion to do it, but I think we just need that breakthrough, that one last push that would get at least one person to that level of Hollywood or the main music industry, and that will open up a lot of gates. So
within you both of you are involved in the music arts community. Amongst our generation, how are they perceiving the Tamil Nadu influence? How are they what's their current mindset in terms of becoming better artists?
Dealing with a lot of artists just recently, unfortunately, they are being pushed back a little bit. Even though they appreciate the opportunity, tremendously. It's still like, oh, I came, I went to practice a day before. They asked me to sing a day before, or something like that, which is really not professional, and it kind of like pushes the borders as far as just using them for the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not really an opportunity. It's more like, oh, we need an extra singer, or we need an extra drummer.
Okay.
And at that point, it just kind of feels like, oh, I'm just doing this as a favor. It's not something that, I personally want to do. I mean, asking someone the day before performance, it's just added stress.
And what generally happens when these young artists, say how they feel about how they're being treated? Is there a response? What's the response given to them when they...
I mean, definitely it's, like I said, they appreciate it, but at the same time, they want to see more. They want that appreciation after it. It's not just, oh, you're done, okay, all right, thank you, see you later, right? That appreciation after it, that spotlight, like marketing is a big thing when you're an artist, right? You need to market yourself. People need to know who you are, and in order to do that, you have to be present, you have to be present in the media. Right, so those things are not available for artists in our community. Right, it's if you see a big artist come, it's just their picture in the center mass, right, and then you'll see boxes of like little, of our artists.
So what like beyond that challenge in terms of the dynamic with bigger artists from Tamil Nadu, what are some of the local challenges our artists face?
I feel like here there's not a lot of avenues you can go to show what you have, basically. You don't have a platform to show your talents. The farthest that most of us do is just like, high school shows or like talent shows in university, and that's about it. You don't have the opportunity to go higher than that, unless you yourself go out looking for like gigs to do or places to sing at, or like even like weddings to play at. But other than that, like it's really hard to get far.
Okay, and generally, like on that topic of performances, do most of our younger artists in our community here in Toronto and in Canada, do they get compensated? Do they get paid for their work?
It really depends on who is asking you to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And generally, is it shows or is it private performances or?
It's usually by performances, whether they pay you or not. If they are paying you, it's nowhere near. It's not enough to kind of depend on that as a part-time. I mean, you might as well. It's better to go and have a part-time job rather than depending on, oh, someone will call and pay me for it, right? Going back to the challenges of our artists in our community, one of the biggest thing is support, right? One is support from the family, right? Parents definitely pay for, classes. Parents definitely spend a lot of money for arangetrams. But, going beyond that, the mentality in our community right now is, if you take a look at like classical dancing or like Bharatanatyam or Miridangam, whatever it may be, arangetram is as far as they go. They think that's the end, right? But in reality, that shouldn't be your end. That should be the beginning point to your career as a performer, as an entertainer, as an artist, right? So parents definitely help out, but parents should push them or support them when they say, listen, mom, dad, I want to be a musician. I want to be the next Drake. I want to be the next Justin Bieber. Whoever it may be, they should support that. And I feel that support is not
on that topic. Recently we had a discussion on parenting, and one observation that comes up in many conversations is, Tamil parents are putting their kids into too many classes, right? Whether it's dance, Bharatanatyam, Miridangam. Are we placing kids into music or arts that they're not suited for? Like, do you think that is a problem? We're putting too many kids are doing it, and as a result, the kids who should be doing it are getting the focus or not getting the focus?
I mean, either the parent, depending on the age of the child or the youth, either the parent or the kid or the youth should realize, is this really for me? Or if I'm the parent of a child, I should really understand, is my child interested in what he's doing? Because, for instance, I know a lot of friends and who are my age now. They did their Arangetram, they went to classes for several years, but they're doing nothing with it because they're like, oh, I just did it because my parents told me to do it.
Okay. And coming back to the idea of supports, right? Here at TVI, we have Superstar, we have the dance competition as well as the musical competition. How have these avenues helped develop and identify strong and talented artists?
I really think that us having Superstar and all these opportunities to showcase talent, it's a great idea because now if you look at singers who were part of Superstar, their pictures are on posters and people go see them, and they're regular household names now, and which is a great thing because even 5 years ago that was not even possible.
That wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Certainly. And so will some say that, okay, now our industry's starting, that we're having a support system? Like, do you think it's the infancy, or do you think it's going to be like this for a while? That it's like we've plateaued, we have our competitions and stuff, and they're featured with bigger artists from Tamil Nadu?
No, I think this is just the starting point. There is so much room to grow. We're just in the beginning. And this is just like the first generation. There are further generations after us that may even have like a bigger interest in growing talent like this, even like with Manoj, with the show coming up.
We have a caller, line 1, Prabha. Hello? Hi, Prabha?
Yes.
Do you have a question or comment?
Basically, more than the question, I would like to wish the team actually of Team of New Rim. So. Okay.
Oh, you're thanking them for their work they're doing?
Yes. I'm actually one of the performers on the show, so I would like to congratulate them for doing such things for the local artists.
Prabha, as a performer, what are your challenges being faced as an artist within our Toronto Tamil community?
Basically, see, they're not just doing like an ordinary show for us, actually. So they're trying to showcase us as an artist in Toronto. So meeting the requirements in terms of not just performing on the song or anything like that, but it's like more than that. As a person, what we should be working on the team, how to work as a team, and all these things like that. They bring us to do more than 100% on there.
Prabha, do you think right now our community, like the stage of our local talent, is it going to grow, or do you think it's going to stay the way it is unless we change some things?
I would say there will be like a lot of change in this, because this is like they're trying to do more than what we are capable of. They're believing in the local talents to showcase it, not just as a singer or just as a dancer or just as anything, they're trying to make us feel that we are good to do anything kind of. So definitely this kind of stuff will make us grow.
Thank you, Prabha. And Manoj, I'm curious to your opinion on that question. Are we going to stay the way it is, or unless we change certain things?
I really think it comes down to the audience, the public, the general community. Basically, I'd like to use a very funny example. Me and my sister were the only two children for my parents. My dad always pushes my sister to get 90s and 100s and whatever it may be. But with me, he took it a little bit relaxed and laid back. And I realized when you ask a person for more, they give you more. You have to ask for it. You have to. If you go to a show and it's not up to par, the audience shouldn't be hesitant just because you came to the show, it's your cousin singing or your daughter singing. You shouldn't just be like, oh, it was a great show, you should do it again and again. No, if the quality is not up to par, you ask for it. You mention it. You're like, this is not acceptable, and that's the only way to take this. Like Julie said, the beginning point to the next level. Right? People have to be critical. I mean, if food is not good, you're not just still going to eat it, right? I'm pretty sure we all eat our moms and dad's cooking, and sometimes it's not up to par, I guess, right? And you still have to eat it.
Thank you, Manoj. Dear viewers, it's time for a short break. Please join us shortly. Welcome back, dear viewers. On our show today, we're discussing the influence bigger Tamil Nadu artists are having on our local homegrown music and arts community. Joining us are Manoj and Julie discussing this topic. Manoj, just before we went to break, we're discussing that, when we're upset and we go somewhere and eat something, we let people know it's not the greatest, right? So in terms of, and you mentioned how we need to do this in the music and arts community. Why is that important?
Well, I mean, one of the best ways to grow is through getting feedback, right? As a performer, you want honest feedback, right? Someone might be, telling you, oh, it's amazing, this and that, but if you don't get the accurate, feedback, it's not going to help you develop. For the time being, yeah, it might be, oh, it feels great, we did great, but when you're not really growing out of it. And as an artist, or as just as a Tamil person, it is somewhat difficult, I find, for our community people to take criticism, right? It is they do take it to heart. It's not held at a very professional level, right? If someone gives you criticism, accept it, right? Whether you agree with it or not, just accept it and think back at it, reflect at it, and I mean, what you did. And when someone tells you something, don't believe it, but say if a group of people are telling you the same thing, you might want to give some consideration to it, right? And
Julie, as an artist, why is it that many, whether it's in music arts or politics, sports, or any personal relation, why is it people are afraid to give criticism? And maybe in the context of the music arts community, why is it that people are afraid to say or criticize?
I think it's just the way they feel that the artist would take it, not knowing that their criticism is actually helping us as opposed to hurting us. Because if I'm on stage and I'm playing something totally wrong, and someone says, "Oh, you did great," then I'm going to assume, okay, well, I played it well. But for the next show, I would probably play just as bad, and I wouldn't even realize it because everyone to my face would be like, "Oh, it's good, it's good." But I don't think they realize that they're actually hurting us by not criticizing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a caller, Siva.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Siva.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Please share.
Yes. I think it's a good platform for these young kids in Toronto, to get them out, that talent out there. You cannot compare. The problem is here, I think, it's the media.
Okay.
The local media, and they don't support much for these kids.
Oh, well, Siva, we mentioned earlier at TVI we have the dance competition, the singing competition.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of other venues, or how do you?
Even I think, I watch most of these programs. Also, they bring all these artists from all over the world and they pay them big bucks.
What's your fear with these artists from Tamil Nadu?
We have lots of young, good, talented artists. But they have to embrace them. You watch, this show in Vijay TV in India, right?
Yeah.
Amount of practice, and, they gave them all this voice training and all. These kids never get that much of it, right?
Okay.
And also, I think we should have good judges for these programs when you run with local TVI or this program. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Siva. So on that topic on support, a lot of these artists from abroad, and we talked about this earlier, but how they have voice coaches, and how does that help if our artists had that support, how would it help their talent?
I heard on the radio about a couple of days ago that Beyonce, I know she's amazing, but she has some 15 writers that work on one song, and there is music producers, not just one, many work on her, the soundtrack. And you take any artist, even though we see their face and we think that, oh my God, this is amazing, she's amazing, or he's amazing, there's an entire team behind them. There's a huge team behind them as far as marketing, for promotions, for just their skill, just to tweak up their skill.
Okay.
I recently watched Katy Perry's movie. She did the world tour and they made a movie out of it. And the number of people that make that show possible is tremendous, huge, right?
So it seems to me it's primarily money that's at the heart of this, of why our artists are not being developed fully, right? What are avenues for these artists to get the money to create material?
That's the thing. It's very limited. Like, I can't even think of who I would go to if I wanted to go market myself.
Okay.
So in terms of avenues, it's really limited here. And that's part of the reason why it's really hard as an artist to grow. You just don't have the opportunity or the money. And it's not like we can go out and work and then spend all that money on marketing, because we have school to deal with, and then school fees to pay. So you can't even use all that money on your artistry.
Are there any success stories in Toronto or in London, in the diaspora cities, where artists have been able to make money and support themselves?
I mean, at a smaller level, yeah, there are people who do this as a regular. But I mean, I guess one example we could use is MIA. She got pretty big. I mean, for a little while it was everywhere, right? With the Slumdog Millionaire soundtracks and everything, it came well together. But I'm pretty sure that even her, it's not a single person show. Even though we see her
with
face.
the MIA example, it wasn't because of our community that she became famous. It was because of her own talent and the wider mainstream industry that helped her.
Exactly.
Ascend. What is stopping our students or our youth from going to, say, Chennai and making it there? Is that viable, or is that unrealistic?
I believe myself is that it's unrealistic for now. It's not possible just yet because of the support system, because of the belief. First, you have to believe in yourself that you could do it. You have to have that dream. You have to have that passion. I want to make it. After that, your immediate support, your family has to give you that encouragement. Fine, this is what you want to do. Let's do it. Right? I'm going to be 100% behind you. Third is the community, right? Community-based support. So, like, organizations or businesses, whatever it may be, they see talent. Okay, let's get him on board. Let's do everything that she needs or he needs to go to that professional level.
Okay.
Those are the three main things that are needed in order to make that happen.
But even in Chennai, like, I don't know if you can even grow there, because you're competing with all these other homegrown Indian talent, and they'd probably have more priority over someone who just flew over.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a question people have asked, say, in the Vijay TV Super Singer episodes. Is there a stigma against, like, if we were to come from Toronto or London or whatever, is there a stigma or a disadvantage, do you think?
I would think so, just because you're so out of the norm over there.
Right.
You're not, one of them.
Okay.
So it would be a little difficult to kind of prove yourself. So that would make it a little unrealistic for me personally to go to India and, like, become big there.
So there have been some instances. We have, there's a rapper, local talent from here, Rajiv, The Prophecy, and he's featured on soundtrack that's coming out for a mainstream movie. Given his success, and there's the actor from the movie 1999 who's coming out from a Hollywood production, Tenguru, and he's acting in that. So there've been examples of talent, of people who've sacrificed. Given those examples, can our artists do it then?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what we need. We need someone to break through those barriers and say, look, it is possible. It is okay to follow your dream. You don't have to go work a 9-to-5 job, right? yeah, I'm pretty sure they faced a lot of struggles, but once they kind of made that way, it's a lot easier to kind of work off of that and use them as motivation. Right?
If we look at other communities and other cultures here in Toronto and the GTA, they compensate, or they pay their artists. Have you seen that? Is that true? Are other communities better at rewarding their homegrown talent?
I would say so. Like I've done lots of shows, I haven't been compensated. So yeah, I think other communities, from what I've heard from my friends, they have had some sort of compensation. And even if it wasn't like
what community
monetary,
were they from?
Greek,
Okay.
Italians. And even if it's not like monetary, it's always like, they'd get invited to other shows and they'd have like just as fun as they did with the first show, and their names out there and their faces out there.
So do you think it's not just a money or monetary thing? There's also other forms we can thank our artists through. Like, is there, like you mentioned, they're invited to other shows. Do our artists get enough respect? And
I think the level of treatment,
or are they treated as tools?
I definitely say they're treated as tools. Right? I think the level of respect and the appreciation for what they've done has to increase tremendously. Like, it has to go above and beyond, right? Because it takes a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is so hard to do everything that we're doing as a community. So it feels good. It just feels a lot better when someone says, "Hey, thank you. I mean, you came through for us." For sure, if there's anything I could return in favor, I'll be able to do it. That would, money speaks, but I think, just to show their affection, it would be a lot better.
It would be appreciated.
Yeah.
We have a caller, Paran. Hello? Hi, Paran, can you share your thought or question, comment?
Yes, of course. I appreciate it for those young students. They come out and talk about the whole thing.
Okay.
Watching the show. You know what? They bringing the Tamil Nadu, these singers, players, or whoever come here.
Yeah.
Just to make money. Okay, I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Our community have to realize first. You know what? This is a big Tamil community in Toronto, Montreal.
Yeah.
They have to encourage our children. Past 10 years, look, so many Tamil children I see, they are talented.
Yeah.
Very talented, instruments or dance or singing or whatever. Look at those two children who went to sing for the Super Singer.
Yeah.
Look at them. How many of them we have?
Paran, do you think, you're right, they're most likely and likely doing it for money, right? Do you think
100%.
Our community is aware of that and we don't care?
No, they don't care because they...
No, our community, our community here, are we aware of that?
I'm going to answer this one. Look, they just want to pass the time. They don't know where we can bring our children this next level.
Okay.
They just want to pass the time, come back, the sponsors, they go into India, bring the one here. Right now, every day or every other day is something happening. People come from India to do something. You know what? They just get the money and they go on. Do you think they're going to care about the children?
Okay, thank you, Paran. Thank you. That's a good question you brought. He brought it. At the risk of sounding controversial, is it harmful, like Paran suggests, by having these artists come over? So we talked earlier and you mentioned how they can serve as a role model, they can serve as an inspiration, but also on the other hand, is there harm?
Speaking from an organizer perspective, to bring someone from India, it's totally worth it, right? But to come back to the point or the question that you made and the comment that Par made, is it harmful? Definitely is. When it's overdone, when it's so repetitive and there's just, flights and flights of people just coming in to do shows here, definitely, because they cast a big shadow and it's big shoes to fill, right? And when people get used to that, they stop seeing, the quality that we could bring forward.
It almost becomes a standard. Like, it's worth it to go see an Indian performer. as opposed to local.
But I think, like Par mentioned, that the quality of our youth is becoming very strong, and I've seen that personally, right? So, like, ideally, right? Whenever a community is starting on a new venture and it's a new period, a new chapter in our community's life, what is the end goal? Like, ideally, how would you like to see our community structured so that we support artists? Like,
I think just appreciation for talent. That's where it should start, essentially.
So do you see, like, how we, on average we'll watch a movie maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. Do you see it that we go to a show once a week or once a month and it's just local artists?
As when I started going to venues to arrange our show, a lot of the venue managers and art liaison, they're like, in the South Asian community, live shows are a popularity. Like, there's tons and tons, and we welcome live shows more than just going to a film or a movie or something, right? So to have more of it, yeah, definitely. But at the same time, quality is more important than quantity.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
It's time for a break. Dear viewers, please join us as we discuss this interesting topic about our community's growth in relation to Tamil Nadu artists, as well as our own growth in terms of the music and arts community. Please join us in a minute or two. Welcome back, dear viewers. I'm your host, Parthik Handaval. On CrossRoads today, we have Manoj and Julie, and we're discussing the influence and the growth of our Tamil Nadu artists coming to our community here and how our arts and music community is growing. We left off talking about, how the challenges and our community, the music community, faces. Also, what I've noticed is the changes our performers are introducing into different arts, whether it's music or dance. And a lot of this, many people call fusion art. They'll take Tamil music and Western or English music and they'll remix it. And that is something being seen very popular with an artist from London, Arjun, and he had a very popular remix to Kolavari where he introduced his own English language lyrics to it, right? Yeah. Many of our artists here are doing the same. How is that going?
Personally, I enjoy it because I feel like it fosters creativity.
Okay.
You can't be an artist without being creative at some point. So it's a great starting spot for creativity, and then from then you could come up with your own things. And even just putting like Western music with Tamil music, it's a challenge to make it like fit nicely. So it takes a lot of talent, and it's something that I think is appreciated, should be appreciated at least.
And is that something growing or has been around for a while?
I mean, it's been around, but it's taking different, I guess, shapes. Before, if you noticed, Tamil remixes, used to be
very popular in the 90s.
Very popular, right? Yeah. But now you don't see.
You don't hear it as much.
Too much, right? I guess as a community, we are considered a minority, right? But and we're really, really protective of our cultures and our traditions, and we want to stick to that. And that's one of the main reasons why so many kids are in Bharatanatyam, Carnatic singing, and so on, and Miradangam, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's very good that we're doing that. But we should also, once you're done that, when you're comfortable with it, try something new. Experiment with it. That doesn't mean you have to lose your traditional values and traditional method of doing things, but try it. You're an artist.
Do you think these artists face greater challenges and maybe criticism for taking, say, classical music or Tamil music and mixing it, or dance, or whatever it is, music or dance, and mixing it with English or a different thing? Do you think they have greater challenges?
I mean, to do it, yeah, it's challenging, but it's welcomed in a little bit of the younger community.
Okay.
Like, young age people, university and below, they accept it a lot more. They find it different. That to them, that's creative.
But do you think they alienate the older generation, and as a result, they may not have the same audience and the same spotlight?
I don't. To an extent, yes,
Okay.
because I don't think older generations are so welcoming to it. Even with like Collywood remix songs,
Okay.
like the older generation tend to stay away from it because they think it takes away from the original. So in a sense, yes.
So they may not be welcoming to it, but are they criticized for it, for doing this type of fusion?
I believe that it is, especially by the older crowd, older generation, because again, it comes back to losing our traditions and cultures and whatnot. But you know, that's why you still, I mean, a lot of our artists are still learning the traditional stuff. You know, only after they've done that, they come into experimenting with other things, right? So as long as there's a good balance between, you know, our traditions and, you know, the things that we want to do actually, even though you get criticized, I think shouldn't weigh you down too much.
Okay. And on that topic, in terms of the second generation experimenting or blending different arts, will that grow as our second generation becomes the adult generation and the third generation becomes?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And
right?
Yeah.
So do you think the focus will go away from classical arts?
I think it'll always be there.
You think the classical? Okay.
For sure, because you're always still having more people coming to Canada who still have those values.
Okay.
It'll always be there. It's not like something that will disappear very quickly.
I think
we have a caller actually.
yeah.
Caller Ranjit.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Ranjit. Hello?
Hi. Yeah, go ahead, Ranjit. What are your thoughts?
I would like to appreciate these guys for what they're doing and the conversation you guys are having. My question is, my son wants to go to the Leonardo show, and I was wondering, you know, this is something I would want him to see as well. Could I get some information about it?
We don't have any information on it, but I'm sure you can find out. However, there is a show coming up on late October, which both Manoj and Julie are part of, that encourages and fosters local homegrown talent, called Nurture Your Dream.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the show?
Nurture Your Dream is basically our solution to everything that we just discussed right now. Right? Just the name alone, we want people to nurture their dream, right? And whether you want to sing or dance or you want to read a poem, rap, whatever it may be, we want to help you bring that to life, right? And that's pretty much what it is. And we've been pretty successful. I mean, it amazes me to see the amount of talent that our community has. You know, a fine example is, you know, we were talking about fusion. We have two Mridangam players and two tabla players. So we're bringing Hindustani and Carnatic together, right?
So it's not just West and East, it's East and East.
Exactly, exactly. And these guys are amazing. You know, just off the top of their head, they're like, oh, this will work, that will work. And they're so into it, and it's really, it's mind-boggling to see them at work, you know, and it's unfortunate that these guys don't get to be online, or sorry, on stage as much, you know.
And what was the impetus? What started this idea? Why?
This basically, myself, I was part of competitions, dance competitions, and I was part of a team and whatnot. And we looked at it and we were like, okay, so we've done this. What's next? What can we do next, right? Personally, myself and the group that's organizing it, we didn't necessarily want to, you know, perform, right? We wanted to create a platform so that others could use it, right? And basically, that kind of started going, and it started off with, you know, 4 people, became 5, became 10. Now,
I think we have a video providing more information on Nurture Your Dream. Manoj, can you tell us about the clip and about the people behind?
A very interesting thing about that is to go along with local talent. That entire clip was shot by young Tamil people. It was edited by a young Tamil person. The music, the background score for it was done by a young Tamil artist.
From the community, GTA?
Yep, GTA. Even the graphic work, the letterings and whatnot, it was all done by young Tamils.
Julie, when is the show?
So the show is on October 26th. It's at Markham Theatre.
And what time?
6 o'clock.
And what kind of performances can we expect?
It's a variety. Singers, dancers, bands, rappers, poetry readers. It's a variety. Whatever you want, you got it.
And all from the GTA
all
community?
Within the
Okay.
GTA.
That's all the time we have for today, unfortunately.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Julie, for coming on and discussing this very important and timely topic. Dear viewers, thank you for tuning in into TVI's Crossroads. I'm your host, Parthy Kandaval. Have a wonderful week.
தமிழரின் பிம்பம் உங்கள் டிவி.